Hello, and welcome to episode 53 of the BeefJack podcast. I'm James.
I'm Anthony.
I'm Jamie.
Who doesn't have a face?
I have no face.
You have faceless.
No, I'm just hideous. I can't show myself to the world.
So, yeah, oh, no, I'm not going to say that in the public. I don't want to bring up your old nickname.
Oh, yeah, ugly. Bloody Danny Palmer.
We should make his face like the Dragon Warrior Blob and never show his face like he's always the Dragon Warrior Blob.
Yeah. Ugly Features was never a joke. It was deadly serious.
So anyway, this week we're covering Steam's new family sharing, Ouya's Free the Games controversy, but first, the announcement of PlayStation Vita TV, which, yeah, PlayStation and Sony were making a bunch of PlayStation announcements that everyone expected, and then TV. And it was like, you what?
Pretty much. Only for Japan, though. Which means...
So far.
Yeah, so far.
It was the Tokyo Game Show, so they haven't clarified yet.
Well, no, I think Andrew House did say today that there's no plans to bring it west just yet. But hopefully it comes soon. Because it does look really cool. I think it looks cool.
So, talk us through it, Jamie, because I know I vaguely understand it, but I can't.
Why am I getting this job? Fair enough. It's a mini TV, basically, the Vita should have come with an HDMI out socket. It didn't, so instead we're getting Vita TV, which just allows you to play your kind of Vita games and your PSN classics, and maybe, I don't know, did it have like Netflix and stuff like that? I guess it's got apps and stuff, and it's just a little box that you plug directly into your TV and you get a mini PlayStation experience. Basically what it is, it's a PlayStation Vita that you plug into your telly instead of just having in your hands. And it's a lot cheaper than a PS4, obviously.
Well, there was another aspect of it that I found. This was the only one that I remembered until I looked just before we started recording, which was that you can, if you have a PlayStation 4 in your house and you have the PlayStation Vita TV on another TV, you can stream your PlayStation 4 to the TV, Vita TV.
Right.
Yeah, I did see that, and yeah, that is very cool.
Yeah, that was like, okay, that's kind of cool. Like Sky Multi-Room.
In the little trailer, they had the teenagers go into their room to go play the PlayStation 4 because the parents were using the Vita TV in the other living room, and they streamed the games over to the other room.
Yeah, a completely unrealistic scenario, because when do teenagers and parents ever start in the same room to begin with?
Yeah.
When is that ever happening?
This is true. This is true.
But still. Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Like, I don't know if like I say, as somebody who owns a Vita and is getting a PS4, I can't really see why I'd need one, but I can definitely see why people would want one.
I don't have a Vita, so...
Dude, it was like, you're not in the UK, so I won't moan at you. It was 85 quid at Game the other day.
Oh, wow.
Like, I think they were pre-owned ones, but still,
that's a steal.
It was all over Twitter, James. Like,
I've been avoiding Twitter.
Well,
I'm scared of Breaking Bad spoilers.
Fair enough. Legitimate reason. Yeah. But yeah, for 85 quid for a Vita, amazing deal. But even like the normal one now, they do like the 10 indie game deal, don't they? So there's like no excuse not to buy a Vita. They are amazing.
But this gives me a reason to get one, because I like the sound of it, and Vita is becoming more interesting. So I don't know if I necessarily want the touchscreen stuff. The only game I played with it was Tearaway, and it was interesting. It's just like, oh, okay, you can poke the bottom of the Vita and put your finger through the world. How fascinating. So,
Tearaway looks like the only game that's actually using it, like, and it fits in with the world. Like, yeah, I mean, there was other smaller ones have, like Frobisher Says was kind of a really cool tech demo type game for it. But so many games like Uncharted Golden Abyss just like forcing it in. That bloody back screen, it's just terrible, and it's like at the moment it's so forced. So that's quite annoying. And then obviously those games aren't going to be on the Vita Vita TV because the Vita TV won't have a touchscreen and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you're using a PlayStation 4 pad, it will.
That's true.
Yeah.
Oh, but it comes with it comes with DualShock 3, doesn't it? Not
Does
DualShock
it?
4.
Yeah, that's true. But I do wonder if you'll be able to use your DualShock 4.
It'll probably be a software upgrade in like the first year.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, it would make sense to do that. I didn't think about that.
So would you all
sounds
get it?
pretty cool.
If you didn't have a Vita, would you get it?
If I didn't have a Vita, I would, yeah. But then if I didn't have a Vita, I'd just buy a Vita, which is kind of like a negative loop of...
Yeah, Vita's really weird. I remember, like, a year ago, we were all like, Vita's a pile of shit.
Right.
And
I don't think I ever was.
yeah, you were.
Was I really? Because I've had one for at least a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
you
that...
always
Oh, no, I
talked
did
about
have buyer's remorse. Yeah, I did have quite bad buyer's remorse. Okay, yeah.
But, I don't know, they've just totally turned that console around. Well, handheld around.
Shoot, they turned PlayStation Plus and the Vita around.
Well, yeah, and those two kind of go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Because Vita gets like 1 or 2 PlayStation Plus games a month, and it's worth having it around just so you can play those games when they come to it.
But speaking of free games, sort of, Steam family sharing. Valve have announced the new Steam thing, and it's what Xbox One would have been.
Except they've explained it well, and people trust Steam, so people are excited about it.
This is the thing. This is like Bernie Burns of Rooster Teeth. He had a big rant about Microsoft versus Sony PR, and it was what was it? It was the whole you can buy a game on your phone. And the PlayStation will switch on and it will download the game, so it's ready for you when you get home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That means your PlayStation is always on. But Sony don't put it like that. They tell you why it's cool.
Yeah,
And then,
basically.
apparently Microsoft were asked the same question, and they were like, yes, because that's the joy of it being always... And they were like, shut up! It's like, you had an awesome moment, and then you just flushed it down the toilet. And Valve have done the exact same thing as Sony. It's like, here's why it's awesome. You're cool with that.
It is amazing from Valve because there's no hiding that they've clearly just taken the idea, right? That's what's happened. Microsoft ran with the idea, binned it, and Steam have just gone, well, why aren't we doing it? Like, because everyone talking about it was saying, oh, it sounds really cool, but it's too good to be true. That was the main thing, I think. That was the main thought around the family sharing, was that it's too good to be true. It can't be this good. And if that's the criticism of something you're offering your consumer base...
The problem was it was tied into your console has to check in every 24 hours, or it just stops working.
Plus the whole DRM issue, so that wasn't going over well too.
Yeah, that was a problem. But amongst all that, you had this, which was kind of a gem of... But and then they bottled it because they cancelled it, which means there probably was a bad catch. Because if they could have just explained how good it was, they would have surely. But there must have been a catch to their system that they knew.
I don't think there was. I think they just knee-jerked. People are reacting badly. Let's just turn around on everything. And it wasn't, there was that first turnaround, although we've had about 20 more after it.
Yeah.
That first turnaround was a big one. It was like 90% of what we've announced on that day, we're not doing anymore.
Yeah.
I think it just got
Yeah, I think the family sharing was actually said after they did their first reversal. And then people were like, oh, okay.
It was said in the opening, but then people were talking about it then.
Okay.
Then it got canned.
Once it was cancelled, everyone started going, but that was a really good idea.
Yeah.
Right, okay, yeah, that's what I'm thinking
to us.
Yeah.
But I guess Microsoft could still do it further down the line. And now maybe they'll just use Steam as a test dummy for it.
Well, I think it's natural on Steam because Steam's already going in this direction in the first place. Microsoft was trying to stuff the idea down everybody's throat, and then hey, exactly. We got family sharing too.
Yeah, Steam users are already used to a digital experience. It's all digital on Steam. So to go, now you can share your digital library. It makes sense. Whereas, Xbox still had that barrier of digital versus physical that they hadn't addressed before just going straight into it.
Yeah. So, this Steam family sharing, is it just, like, say 4 people use my computer, initially Steam is tied into my profile. Now I can flick a switch on all 4 people? Or is it...
So, yeah.
Jamie and Ann, I'm going to share my library with you because you're awesome.
Yeah,
you can do that. Yeah.
All right.
Yes, but there's like a ton of stipulations to it. So you're the lender, James, and we're the borrowers. First, one of the stipulations is your entire library is open to us and not just single games, which isn't a bad thing, but you can't share just single games. It's just your whole library. And then on top of that, say if I'm playing and you play a game, I have to stop playing and save, and then I get this little, just for like a pop-up or whatever, probably saying you can buy the game, and then I have to log off because you're playing. And at least the way the press release said it, 2 borrowers can't be playing at the same time. So essentially, only one person can be playing at the same time.
I would have thought it was one person has bought the game, one person can play the game. It might not be the same person, but you've only bought one copy of the game. It's not like one of us could buy Monaco and then let's have a 3-player Monaco game.
No, you'd have to take it in turns.
Yeah.
That's fine by me. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for single-player games that you're not that fussed about being in the loop about, then.
Yeah. So, that was originally... And it could go up to 10 people, and I was originally thinking, man, that's going to be a lot of like overlap issues. But then at the same time, it's like, well, most people who are probably using it have their own games to play in the first place. So it's not like everybody's just going to be sitting in James' library waiting for their chance to play his games or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Right. But it's quite a good time to bring it out, I guess. Because with PS4 and Xbox One coming, maybe people are going to suddenly be using more consoles, which means they've got their Steam account sitting vacant and their friends can just nip in and have play their games. That's my plan.
Well, who knows when it's actually launching, because it goes to beta next week.
Yeah, and then apparently 2 to 3 weeks after that, I think it'll be out.
Oh, okay. So it's pretty fast. All right.
Yeah, it is.
And then we have the other little box, which would have been better to follow up with a Vita, but never mind. The Ouya.
I actually wanted to talk about the Ouya as part of because the PS Vita box. What it does do is it makes all these other ones seem a little bit silly. Like, all right, Ouya is great, potentially great because it's open platform and anyone can develop on it, and it could be a hotbed of creativity, but at the same time, with the Vita TV, you're probably getting guaranteed quality games for it.
Yeah.
So
you don't have the problem of Android's library being full of shit.
Yeah, exactly. So as a normal consumer, and just the branding, as a normal consumer, you want a small thing to play games on your TV. You see Ouya, you've got no idea what games are on it. You've got no idea how to find the good games on it. You have no idea what this brand name is. And you see PlayStation Vita TV. Yeah. You're going to go for the Vita TV. But yeah, what's Ouya done this time?
This time, there's the free... it was kind of funny because I kind of watched this unfold unknowingly. Ouya announced their Free
the Games campaign or something like
Free to Games campaign, or
Free the Games,
Free the
Games fund.
Free the Games.
Which was basically we've set aside $1 million or something like that to develop games, and we will do that. 2 games applied. Well, many games applied, but 2 games got announced. Gridiron and Elementary My Dear Homes.
Yeah, Gridiron Thunder and yeah.
Is it Gridiron Thunder? Right, okay.
Yeah.
Gridiron Thunder turned into a Kickstarter, and its Kickstarter was a bit suspicious because it hit its goal in no time at all, with very few backers. And it was like, that's a bit odd. Elementary Dear Homes, which I really liked the Kickstarter video, and it looked like a pretty cool idea. I mean, Watson as the brains is not an exact original idea, but LucasArts style adventure game sounds a good idea. They did the same thing, and they outright said, and I think Gridiron Thunder might have said the same thing, which was, whatever we raise through Kickstarter, Ouya's going to double. And it was like, that's kind of cool. So if you guys give us 50 grand, I think, which is what they were asking for, we actually get 100.
Mm-hmm. Plus a 6 month time exclusive on the Ouya.
6 month exclusivity on Ouya. And it's like, well, that's kind of cool. That sounds pretty good of Ouya. And then then Elementary, which was the one I was paying attention to. I only found out about Gridiron Thunder afterwards. Hit its goal really quickly, but it didn't have a lot. It had a lot of backers, so it didn't look quite as suspicious. But then the funding just dried up. It hit its goal in like 3 days, and then I think it took me, because of my new shifts, it was 5 days after it launched that I reported on it. And it had barely moved from I think it was like it had earned another $100 or no, $1,000 in those 2 extra days. And it's like, no Kickstarter slows down like that.
Wow.
A user on NeoGAF had decided, yeah, no Kickstarter slows down like this. I'm going to investigate this. Found that a lot of the accounts seemed to be dubious. Brought it to a lot of people's attention. The guys behind the Elementary My Dear Homes went to Amazon, went to Kickstarter to go, look, can you investigate this? And then Kickstarter closed down the Kickstarter because it looked very dodgy. And it appears that Ouya is basically funding it's like, go do a Kickstarter. And then they're just shoving the money into Kickstarter. So,
wow, that was a really comprehensive overview.
It was. That was exactly what happened.
Yeah, that is every single detail.
Pretty much.
Moving on.
Sorry.
No, it's cool. It was it is a weird situation. I haven't been following that closely, but it's just, again, Ouya they do weird things, don't they?
They issued some sort of apology. This is when I stopped following. I saw they offered some sort of apology that wasn't really an apology, and it was basically, it's such a shame that people are bringing to the attention of how we're trying to help gamers, or something random like that. It's basically blaming other people for us finding out about it.
Yeah, is it this one? Or at least is this part of it? In launching this campaign, we've been called everything from naive and foolish to crazy and idealistic. This is not the first time we've been called any of that. Maybe we're naive. And yes, we're definitely idealistic. It's gotten us this far. That was my best points of view voiceover.
That was it.
That's the one. And it's just, there's no admission of we fucked up. Or, there's not even any talk about the controversy and what they've done. It's just like, we're getting pulled apart for doing this. It's like,
but the devs as well have been very quiet on it, haven't they? The Elementary Mr. Holmes devs.
I believe.
I thought they'd been pretty quiet since it got closed down.
Oh yeah,
Since it was closed down, yes, they were being pretty open before because they were like, we don't know what's going on. They were all over their Kickstarter because I was Louis Proctor at Savvy Gamer, who's all about deals and stuff on Twitter. He was like really looking into it, and that's what got my attention. And but the main guy, he was like, look, we don't know what's going on. We're asking everybody to investigate it. As far as we're aware, everything's kosher, but it looks like it might not be. So we're trying to get to the bottom of it. And then Kickstarter pulled out, and then that's kind of when I stopped paying attention. But he was being upfront about it. But there's a theory that he knew what was going on, but I don't know. If he did know what was going on, he was being quite duplicitous about it. Duplicitous, can't say it.
Yeah. So, I think the thing I can hear this is going to be a stupid question before I ask it. I think, but so why were you doing this? Like, what do you gain by putting these games on Kickstarter than putting fake backers to back them? Just attention and publicity. I think that's it. Like,
yeah, and also the game gets a little bit more funding, I guess,
because you get an avalanche effect. People see a lot of people put money into it. They go, "Oh, cool, we want to as well," and they throw money.
Yeah, it's also just the people who would generally back that Kickstarter anyway. It got to, I mean, it wasn't doing great, but it was doing good enough because I saw it on like day 2 or 3. And it got like 75 or something. So it looked like it was going to like 75 grand of the whatever they were asking. No, hang on. I don't know. It was doing all right. I remember thinking that. And I was like, oh yeah, this is going to be one of those that scrapes in. And then a week later it had passed, and I was like, that's a hell of a turnaround. I saw RPS cover it as well, so I thought maybe quite a few other people have covered it. And then I went looking and went, oh, they have, but not for the right reason.
Yeah. I think the other advantage for Ouya was the timed exclusive thing, because obviously if this high-profile Kickstarter project gets funded and, of course, is finished, then, people will have to come and play it on the Ouya for 6 months. So maybe that'll get people to buy it.
Yeah, true.
About that. Okay, so Ouya's Idiotics has now, these 2 Kickstarters have both been cancelled. We don't know how much backing they had. I bet their names are completely marred now. Nobody will go near them if they relaunch.
Yeah.
Which is a shame, because Elementary My Dear Homestead looked like it was going to be pretty good. But never mind. I'm going to go back to the PS Vita briefly, because I do really want to talk about it. It's kind of not really the PS Vita, but Assassin's Creed Liberation, aka is coming out to PS4. No, it's not. It's coming out to PS3, Xbox 360, and PC next year.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was actually kind of excited about that, because I don't have a Vita. And I did want to play Liberation just because it's Assassin's Creed. And I was curious to see how they would use a female protagonist in the story, although I know it's not going to really do anything as far as the actual gameplay. But now I get to try it on a console.
That's kind of... That was my initial reaction, but the main reason I want to talk about it is the consoles it's on, the ones it's not on, and what does that mean for Assassin's Creed? It's on the old consoles. It's the current generation. The second year of the new generation.
Yeah, but I think that makes sense, because they'll still have.
It makes perfect
sense. It's not coming out this year.
No, it's coming out next year.
Okay.
Because everybody's getting Black Flag. Next year, the old generation is getting Liberation. So, does that mean that Ubisoft are developing Assassin's Creed 5 or whatever it will be called for just the next gen consoles?
Ooh, yeah, I think so.
I don't see why they wouldn't.
I think from any games, well, maybe not any games, but I think like a lot of games like that, big franchise games that aren't announced yet, that are going to be announced, they're going to, we're going to obviously see less and less being on old consoles and new consoles. And I think that'll kind of be 2014, maybe even the beginning, where we really just start seeing games announced for the new consoles and not the old ones.
The only reason why I would see AC5 on older consoles is simply for money purposes, and maybe like the install base is bigger on older consoles, so they don't want to leave them out yet.
Yeah. But it's just that I found it very interesting that they've not announced anything about that, but then they've announced that they're giving us the old, here's a game you all missed because it was on Vita. Or a majority of you, a lot of Assassin's Creed fans will have missed because it's on Vita. So we're going to announce that, but I don't know. It's just that it's interesting timing, and like it's obvious. Yes. This means that Liberation's the 360 PS3 release next year, not 5, or whatever it is.
Yeah, I think it's smart to announce it now, because if they announce it after the consoles, the PS4 1 launch, then nobody's going to remember it. No one's going to care.
No, so. But you're also. I was thinking you're also cushioning, like when you announce 5. I would announce it pretty close to announcing 5. So, like, 4 comes out, and then it's like, hey, we're bringing Liberation to 360 and PS3, and here's 5, and it's only Xbox One and PS4.
But I think, I guess either way, like, it's not gonna matter, because
I just feel
people aren't gonna care either way, because it's like if you announce it right next to AC5, people are gonna be like, well, freaking Liberation's on the old consoles. I don't care. 5's on the new one. And if you announce it now, by the time Liberation comes out and they announce 5 closer to it, people are gonna think the same thing. I don't care. It's on the old console.
To me, it's cushioning the blow for the fans that haven't moved yet, and announcing it so far away from it. It's not acting as a cushion. It's we're throwing you a bone, but we're telling you about this bone so far in the past that you'll forget when we get around to actually telling you why we threw you that.
Do we know if it's going to be launched like Q1 or Q2 or something like that?
They've just said it's 2014.
Okay. Because if it's like Q1, then okay, like it's not that big of a deal.
I imagine it'll be early. HD ones usually are announced pretty close to their release date.
Yeah, I like that it's a bit more than a HD remake. They're reworking a few bits of it, and added more missions. But whatever. Anyway, what have we been playing?
Again, I haven't been playing a lot, so I'll start. Mostly because, like, I'm avoiding games kind of this week and also a little bit last week because GTA 5 is next week. So I was like, I'm not risking, like, I can in no way be lethargic about games at any point when GTA 5 hits. I just need to be in, like, the optimum. Just absorb myself fully in this because that's what's going to happen. Like, so yeah, I'm just prepping for GTA 5. I played today some Need for Speed Most Wanted. For the first time.
Criterions or black boxes?
The new one. Yeah, Criterions. And remembered how soulless it was once again. It's nothing on Burnout Paradise or the older Burnout games.
Can't stand Burnout.
It's also it's nothing on Most Wanted either. Not Most Wanted, the one before it.
Yeah,
Hot Pursuit.
Hop Shoot was an amazing game, and then something about Most Wanted, it was just, I don't know.
I found Most Wanted was just like said what?
Both of you. Jamie.
Me. Yeah, I found it like fell between both franchises. Which I think they were like, shall we lean to Burnout? Shall we lean to Need for Speed? And they went to try and do both, and I'm not sure it really worked. And the biggest problem is that you can get any car anywhere, and there's no sense of progression at all throughout the entire game. I just never really feel like I'm ever progressing in it.
Fair enough.
Yeah, that's my gripe with it.
Yeah, I don't know. I was really excited about it when it came out, and then I played it, and it just didn't hold the same. Something about it, it just wasn't the same as Hot Pursuit, and I loved Hot Pursuit. I was playing Hot Pursuit up until Most Wanted was released for 2 years. Most Wanted, after I completed it, I barely touched it.
I was playing Black Box's Most Wanted pretty much up until Criterion's Most Wanted came out, so that's how much I like that one.
I'm kind of the same as Jamie. GTA's coming out, so I've just been playing games that I've never finished. Mine's the Borderlands and Saints Row again. Although Saints Row pissed me right off, but I then learnt it's just got bad tips rather than bad tutorial.
No.
There's 2 fights in the whole game, and it's like you have to have a samurai sword fight, and it's like the guy walks in and goes, "At least fight with honor," and I'm like, "No, I'm going to shoot you with a shotgun." Because it's Saints Row.
There is no honor in Saints Row.
Yeah, all of a sudden there is, because I can't switch away from the samurai sword. It's Saints Row 2, by the way, and it's like, yeah, and the tooltip says defend and counter with left trigger, right trigger. And I'm hitting them both, and I'm going, what is this? Just completely losing it. Quit out.
Oh, yeah. I see.
Go off. Like, do a few of the activities that give me bonus health or faster regen or less melee damage and anything to give me an edge in this fight. Go back in the fight, cheat my ass off, get through it, keep going. I'm like, yay, that was annoying, but I'm past it. Get to the end of that section of missions, which was, it's the Japanese gang, obviously. And there's another one, and this guy's way harder than the first guy, obviously. And I couldn't do the cheat that I'd done in the first mission. I was like, right. And then how do I do this fight online? Which I tried in the first fight, and it didn't work. But one guy just goes, just hit left trigger to counter. What are you talking about? And I was like, it's just left trigger, because the game tells you it's both triggers. And I just went in and hit out, and it was just like easiest fight in the game. I was like, seriously. That really pissed me off.
Yeah. What you said, defend and counter, and then all the confusion. I was like, yeah. They worded that weird.
Yes. So anyway, Anne, please tell me you've been playing something new.
New, but it's old, Mirror's Edge. So finally got started on that. I'm enjoying it. I can already tell it's linear, but it's not going to stop me from playing it. So I've only finished the first mission. I just played like a couple of hours before we recording. So I'm enjoying it though. Don't really have much to say about it because I haven't gotten that far. I actually didn't expect that I didn't realize that the cutscenes were going to be comic animations, which I thought was interesting. Nothing revelatory, but I was just like, oh, it's not CG. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure I think that might have been more of a, trying to remember. I think that was more budget inspired than like creative choice inspired, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
But it's a cool style, and it actually quite suits it. But yeah,
it does.
I've watched a mate play. I've never played myself. It was one of those games that was always like, I'll get around to it at some point. And I heard that the latter few levels just isn't very good. Like what Zen is to Half-Life 1. So that kind of was like always put it further on the back burner for me. But yeah, from the early bits that I've seen do look awesome.
Yeah, it's fun just to run around and jump on stuff. It's like Titanfall before Titanfall.
Yeah, it is just parkour. Everyone loves a bit of parkour.
That's what's just kind of fun. It's like, what game can you play that's just all parkour? And...
There is it.
Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Well, yeah, now, Assassin's Creed. But...
I realise what my problem is with Assassin's Creed more and more is that it was thinking about Liberation. I was like, cool, I get to play Liberation. And then I watched the trailer and I was like, oh. Like, there's a couple of scenes where she's not... Yeah, she's not in Assassin's gear, and she's like in civvy wear, if you like, in dresses and stuff. And I was like, that's what Assassin's Creed needs. It needs infiltration missions. Like, blend in.
What you mean? Walking in the middle of a group of 5 people isn't your idea of infiltration and blending in?
Yeah.
5 people with the same clothes, and you're wearing completely different clothes.
Yeah.
It's just not... Yeah, Assassin's Creed is just stab people in the face, really. I mean,
That's what
you
it's
can
become.
Yeah,
Because
it has.
Brotherhood and 2 definitely had some more
So
well
did
thought
one.
out. Huh?
1 did as well. 1, if you did well enough and you knew what you were doing, you could kill the majority of the targets, like the big targets, completely stealth.
That's true.
It was
Yeah,
just
you're right.
difficult.
You're right.
And then, yeah, it's just devolved into a stabby game.
Yeah, they put way too much emphasis on trying to better the combat and make it smoother and stuff. It's like, well, don't forget about the assassin part, because that's kind of important.
Nah, Black Flag, you're just a pirate, not even an assassin anymore.
Yeah, I see. That's the thing. I don't like with the Black Flag. I don't mind because they're setting up the story of he's a rogue. He's not an assassin. He's not a Templar. He's got the training, but he's left it all behind, and he's now a pirate. And obviously, he's going to get dragged back into the war. But it fits with the story there that he's now more about having sword fights and stuff. But Connor's story, it is let's teach you how to be an assassin, and you don't draw attention to yourself. But the gameplay is completely contradictory to what the story is. And yeah, I want a proper Assassin's Creed game again.
Yeah, that's pretty much the direction Assassin's like. They keep the concept of Assassin's Creed, in the storyline and stuff, but they just completely lose the assassin stealth part as it keeps going. So it's just like, because like in the first game, like you set it up, like this is one of the earliest orders of assassins, and like everything's there. The combat's there, the infiltration's there, the whole idea of what being assassin is there. And just as time goes on, it's like the idea of being assassin is there, but it's just like a bunch of dudes who are part of this order and follow the creed and stuff, but don't do any assassin stuff. It's just like, come on, Ubisoft, bring it back.
Yeah,
pretty much.
It needs stealth. I mean, the fact that I can't duck is ridiculous.
Right,
it's like you're trying to sneak into the, and I think I've had this rant before, but Ubisoft after 4 came out, Ubisoft were like, the stealth of Assassin's Creed is meant to be social stealth. You use the crowd and etc.
Right, yeah.
It's like, that's all well and good, but when you're asking me to infiltrate forts where there are absolutely no crowd about and it's just me versus a bunch of soldiers, and I can't duck behind walls, something's gone wrong.
Yeah. But I think the no ducking thing makes sense. Like, if you think about it, the amount of knives and stuff he's got strapped to his body, if they're kind of strapped around the knee, it might be hard to do. I've never tried like squatting or ducking with knives strapped to my knees. So, maybe it's realistic.
Maybe it is realistic. But then again, I can't imagine jumping off 30-story buildings into haystacks being exactly realistic. So
I do that all the time.
You said what, James?
I do it all the time. Just it's how I get to work.
Just parkour off a building.
Yeah.
Small haystack.
Got a haystack in front of the front door.
What they need is cardboard boxes.
But it has to be for the era. So if it's not a cardboard box, maybe it's a wooden box.
Well,
yeah, you got to take that into consideration.
Yeah, in Metal Gear, I have never used a cardboard box as a stealth thing. It's just a cool thing to have, and I've switched to them and gone, hee, I'm in a box.
Yeah, it was always rubbish. Yeah. It was never effective.
Yeah, I think I might have tried it once and gone, well, he knows where I am. He's like, that box does not belong there. It's like, well, shit.
You can have like a hollowed out hay bale in Assassin's Creed. or like
you're right.
When you jump into the hay pile, just kind of grab some bunches of it and just kind of shuffle about like a tree. Would that work?
So you should be able to take bushes with you.
I don't know what bush. Yeah, I don't know what tree. Yeah, a hay tree.
It's going to turn into a Monty Python sketch next.
Yeah. Sweet. Yeah, that's basically it.
Shuffling along. But back to Metal Gear because you ruined my segue.
Sorry.
So, yeah, the whole quiet thing, the sexy comments and what have you. It was a bit odd. Because I saw the tweets and just didn't think there was that much of a story, and then turned around 2 hours later and everybody else had reported on it, and I was like, really? And it was like most people were reporting on it. Because
you're desensitized, James. That's all.
No, well, maybe. I'm a comic fan, so probably. But Kojima's Twitter is never that
clean,
brilliant, because it the translation's off, and that's the way with most of his tweets. And I just read it and I knew what it's like. Well, I know what you're getting at, and everybody else not everybody else, but quite a few of the sites that were reporting it was like, you're ignoring what. Yeah, it's just really.
It just seemed overly perverted for like a public tweet. It was just like, I see where you're coming from, but really?
Yeah, I think it's a bit weird, like, because he said, actually, maybe I'm not. What was his original quote? His original quote was that the female character he was designing was deliberately more erotic. Was that it?
Yeah.
And then he clarified that to say that erotic,
he wanted to make it more erotic, sorry.
Yeah, that was how he originally phrased it.
And then he clarified it by changing the word erotic for sexy. But then to me it's still got the core issue of like, why does he feel the need to make a female character more sexy when he arguably wouldn't feel the need to do that for a male character? Like, he wouldn't go to Solid Snake and think, I need to sex him up a bit.
Yeah, well, I was thinking that too about the whole cosplay idea. I was like, well, why doesn't he make old Snake, whatever this Snake is, more cosplay-ish?
Where the comics industry is going through the reverse of it at the minute, and it's like, you've got all these characters that were designed in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and what have you, even 90s. That are all in ridiculously skimpy clothing.
Yeah.
And characters like Ms. Marvel, aka now Captain Marvel, has been given a full bodysuit. Same with Psylocke, who Jim Lee in the 90s put in basically a swimsuit with some wrappings around it. And she's been given a full bodysuit now, and it's like a lot of these characters are getting proper costumes that don't, okay, yeah, they're still drawn ridiculous, but so are the men, but at least they're all getting covered up. And yeah, I haven't actually seen the proper design yet, so I might be about to reverse my decision if I can find it.
Talk about the proper design for Quiet.
Yeah.
It is weird in the comics, though, that, not weird, interesting. Because you could have gone one of two ways, couldn't you? The criticism is that, females were always wearing scantily clad clothing that weren't suited for superhero wear. And I like they've given them practical clothing, whereas they could have just gone, let's just make the males scantily clad as well. So they clearly knew that the female costumes before were completely ridiculous to begin with.
Yeah. But with Quiet, it just feels like with comic books, it didn't feel as dirty. With this, it's just she's a freaking sniper military. And yes, apparently there's a backstory and a reason behind all of her clothes.
So she's in a bikini top, fair enough.
With torn stockings where you can see her.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
And all that stuff.
Torn stockings, that's a bit weird.
Yeah, so it's just why? And Kojima says there's a reason for it. Well, sure, you can make a reason. That doesn't mean it's actually a good reason. Didn't explain it, but it's just there's something a little dirtier about this. That just
the Hawkeye initiative in full effect. People have put Solid Snake in the gear.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. As a bit if she was wearing army pants and a bikini top, I'd be like, okay, whatever. Stupid design. But it's the stockings that's really throwing me.
I think you're right. I feel like if she was straight up combat boots and military pants, I feel like it would just be a little bit better. Because I think there have been female characters with that sort of style before.
And to say it's to appeal to the cosplayers is a bit weird.
Yeah, I think that's the problem with the comments. He's not designing the character because he feels. Well, it's two tweets and a clarification, so obviously not going to be. It's hard to say for sure, but you shouldn't be designing a character like that. That shouldn't be your thought process. If you want to make a character sexy because it's an integral part of who they are as a character, then fair enough, go for it. But if you're just doing it to score cheap points with a specific target audience, then it's a bit no, don't do that.
But that's a weird thing. It's obviously the target audience for a character drawn like that is the male audience, yet you're targeting female cosplayers who you want to dress like that. I'm just, it's just kind of hard to put those two together and just be like, okay,
yeah,
that makes perfect sense.
It's kind of weird because, going back to my Ms. Marvel, Captain Marvel example, Captain Marvel, the full bodysuit cosplay rather than the swimsuit, what she used to wear, it just went through the roof, and everyone was look, she looks like a superhero. Little girls are embracing this look because she looks like a superhero now instead of whatever the hell she looked like before.
Right.
And it's, I don't know, it's really weird. I'm sorry for bringing this up now. I was basing this purely on I read the tweets, figured I knew what he was on about, and went, and now it's oh wait, okay, maybe I didn't.
Oh yeah, on its most basic level, yeah, it's freaking Kojima, so of course You look at something like that and it's like, yeah, okay, Kojima
What was it?
doing his thing.
Ever in Metal Gear Solid 3, she was like zipped down to a belly button, and it was like, yeah, right.
But it is true. Like nobody did say anything when she was originally shown at E3, and now
I don't know. I think people did. I think I remember people kind of
Oh, you
saying, "Yeah,
Maybe it wasn't huge, but it was. Yeah, I don't know.
no, I don't remember.
I thought the whole point of this was it was the reveal. I didn't realize she was in the old trailer. But looking at these screenshots, yeah, it looks like the trailer. So
Yeah, she was in the trailer.
fair enough.
I don't know
Right.
what reveal he was doing.
Okay, never mind. I think we're done because none of us have played any games except for Mirror's Edge.
good job, guys."
Games journalists, we don't actually play anything. Well, yeah, I'm playing 2 really old games and Borderlands 2.
Oh,
I
what
did play
old
the
games are you
FIFA
playing?
14 demo as well, but nobody cares about that.
Played the what?
so- FIFA 14 demo, but you guys don't
Oh.
care. So,
How dare you assume something like that?
do you care, Anthony?
If I played it, I would care.
Yeah, but you don't. I could like.
I
name
played
them.
FIFA 13. I thought that was fun. I did think
Oh,
that was
sweet.
a lot of fun.
Yeah,
I just
FIFA
don't
14
own
is
it.
slower. That's the main change.
They've sped it up a bit.
They've slowed it down.
Oh,
They've
Yeah,
done.
FIFA 13 is faster.
Yeah.
Well, okay, and on that bombshell,
Should we talk about what we want to play? No.
I think we already
GTA
did.
5, GTA 5, GTA 5.
Yeah.
There we
I
go.
want to play NHL 14. How about that?
Okay, so thanks for listening. Don't forget you can catch all the latest news, reviews, and opinions on beefjack.com. You can also follow us on Twitter via @beefjack and like us on Facebook. Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast. We're also now putting up the initial recording in Google Hangouts on YouTube channel, where you can also find some of our game coverage as well as on Twitch. Goodbye.
That was so smooth.
Thank you. I was winging that one. So, yeah.
Bye.
Later.